All right, and a pleasant good evening to you and to yours, and welcome to the Brevard Sports Network. Alan Slaughterzinski and Caleb Brown coming to you live from Panthers country today, where today we've got the EAFL quarterfinals between the East Coast Sharks and the Hernando County Hawks. Now, the East Coast Sharks are winners of two straight over Hernando this season. They beat them 14-6 in Game 1 and 28-6 in Game 2 just a couple of weeks ago, back on April 19th at the Shark Tank over at the O-Dome in Merritt Island. Today's game, because of graduations, which I understand have been moved inside, are being played here at Space Coast Regional Park. This is home, the proud home of one of the best youth football programs in the county in the Space Coast Panthers. We'd like to thank the Panthers, and I know Eddie Dufresne would like to thank the Panthers as well, the Panthers Youth Football and Cheer Organization, because when you got to find a football field in May, at the end of May, in any county in the state of Florida, with graduations going on, it is not an easy feat. And so Tia and the gang, and they came through, and we will see, as long as the weather stays off to the north and the south, you will see the playoffs here. Now we'll just let you know we got some angles that are kind of cut down, like, yep, there you go there. But you'll see pretty much everything else as well. So again, as long as the weather stays good, we should have 4 quarters of EAFL playoff football action as the captains get set to take the field. It's 6:42 and 11 for Hernando. That would be Jarvis Kelly. 42 is Derek Gomes. 11 is DeMonte Hart. And I'm not sure who that is with his jersey halfway up. It could be number 2, Austin Webster. It could also be number 3, Landon Webster. So my guess is it's a Webster. And for the East Coast Sharks, it's 2-8, 52-7. That's Nelson Camperi. Grady Pizarro. 52 on the roster is Nate Yankee. And number 7 is C.J. Jones, Devontae Jones, as the captains meet at midfield. Today's game is brought to you by Lucky Devil Barbershop and Port Java, the best coffee in Brevard County. You know, the good thing about playing here is I could see their numbers. So there is no excuse for me tonight not to get the number correct, unless you're going to be like Sawyer over here and wind your jersey halfway up your body. But for him, it's a good thing I know that that's Kendall Sawyer. And the starters tonight for the East Coast Sharks. Pat Knight get the call under center tonight. It'll be Jarvell Francis and C.T. Davis. In the backfield, it'll be Kendall Sawyer and Hassan Childs at the wide receiver position. Grady Pizarro at tight end. Greg Taylor at left tackle. Messiah Robinson over at the right side. Steve Jaramillo in the center. Jonathan Joyner at right guard. Alvin Sims at the left guard spot. For the defensive side of the equation, it'll be Nelson Camperi, Tay Jones, Caleb Wright, Messiah Robinson up front. Ryan Veit, Nate Yankee, Zoe McDowell in the middle. Hassan Childs, Kendall Stewart, Eddie Dufresne, and Keyshawn Cooper in the secondary.
Hernando's receiving.
Hernando is going to receive, and is always our good friend, one of the top officials in Brevard County, my favorite official, Eddie Dufresne, in the booth here tonight, running the clock, and he will keep us abreast at what's going on. The winner will advance to the semifinals. Eddie said, don't lie to you like that. But I am telling truths here. We good, Caleb?
Yes, we're great.
All right. That's pretty much all I want to know. Caleb's going to join me here. Tight squeeze here tonight. We got one window that opens. And so air-conditioned facility, I gotta say that. Turn you up a little bit.
No, I was turning you down in my ear.
And what did you check the audio on the stream?
Yes, it's good.
Okay. Now we'll be at a crooked spot here because, again, just the way the angle sits. So you'll just have to bear with us tonight. Not our usual shooting position, but, you adapt and you overcome.
Here, actually, Alan, let's trade headsets because this one has the two that you normally use.
Hi, Mr. Dufresne. How are you? Good to see you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
There we go. That sounds much better.
I tell you what I do miss. I do miss having the usual group of fans that sit right in the front of the broadcast booth. I miss them. They help me out too, believe it or not. All of you at home are probably like, well, what do we need you for? You got Caleb, you got Mr. Dufresne, you got the fans in front. Get off the broadcast. All right, as we get ready to go, number 5 set to kick off for the Sharks. That's Damian Jones. His normal position is wide receiver, but he has really stepped up and done a pretty good job putting the toe to the leather this year. And Jones with a chip shot that will be fielded at the 20, picked up at the 22, and the Sharks will cover it well. Shark attack right off the bat here at Space Coast Panther Stadium. And Hernando will take over first and 10. It looks like at about the 18, 19-yard line. And, again, that's another thing tonight. Bear with me. I don't have hash marks. I don't have 5-yard marks. And it looks like they're going to give him forward progress to the 22. What's that?
Oh, he was pointing at the 5-yard markers in between the 10.
Oh, yeah. I see them halfway there, yeah.
But they're definitely smaller than we're used to.
Yeah, they don't go all the way across, that's for sure. Yeah. All right, here we go. Big line up front. It's I think it's let's see who they got starting at quarterback. It's going to be number 14 starting at quarterback for them, and not the guy I have on my list. It's going to be Jordan Wright at quarterback. Jordan Wright from the gun. He's got a 5-wide receiver set right out of the gate. Wright looks. He's going to run it himself, and he's going to be dropped by that ferocious Shark defense up front right out of the gate right away. Vontae Jones gets in there. And the rest of the starters for Hernando County will be DeMonte Hart, Isaiah Howard, your running backs, Dallas Campbell, Jake Kelly, your wide receivers. The big guys up front, and I do mean big, are Nick Young is your tight end, Chris Phillips, Kevin Schaefer, Jonathan Jordan, Francisco Rosario, and TJ Loader. That's left to right on the Hawks offensive line. That is a loss on the play, second and about 16. This time, a running back in the backfield with Jordan Wright. Wright pitches out, and they're going to throw it down here. And that is out of bounds right in your living room. So a running back option pass. He passed. The intended receiver was Kyle Carina, and it goes out of bounds, and that'll bring up 3rd and 16 for Hernando County.
Be sure to watch the running back who's there in the backfield. That's actually the list of the when we were given our starting lineups. The quarterback Downsky McWilliams.
Oh yeah, okay.
So keep an eye on that. That could be a.
That's about it. I tell you what, I like it. That's a cool name. Looks to throw, scrambles outside, and he's going to go down on the sack. And the Sharks defense has come to play football here tonight. And my guess would be based off the size of the guy. I believe, I want to make sure, turn around. Yeah, that's who I thought it was.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's Nelson Campari with the sack as the punter comes on. Now, an interesting story about the punter here tonight for them, Gregory Biddle. Mr. Biddle, I would imagine it is a birth defect, Caleb. I'm just assuming. I don't know. But he does not have an entire right arm. And I think it's just fabulous he's out here punting. Too many men. Too many men, so they'll go half the distance. So not a great start for the Hernando County Sharks, who face fourth down and now will have to punt from the back of their end zone. They started at the 22, needed to get to the 32, and are punting from the end zone line. And that's not going to be a great punt. And it'll go out of bounds or be downed at the 30-yard line. So the Sharks offense will start there and look to put points on the board early here in this EAFL AA quarterfinal matchup. The road to the Elite Bowl 4, I believe it is, 4. And starting at quarterback tonight, it'll be Patrick Knight. Your running backs in the backfield, Jarvell Francis, C.T. Davis. Wide receivers are Kendall Sawyer, Hassan Childs, Pizarro, the tight end. We'll give you the big guys up front after this play right here. 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 to the left, doubles. Hernando County showing blitz. See if they actually bring it on first down. McKnight looks, fires, he goes deep, and I do mean deep. And that, one play, touchdown, Sharks, as Kendall Sawyer hauls it in, 6-0, East Coast Sharks.
Tell you what, a great start for the Sharks. That defensive line got them started early with that great field position. And then, like you said, one play, touchdown. That's as best a start as you can ever have, Alan.
That is the third time this season the Sharks have scored on their first offensive play of the game. Third time. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And on the kick, the extra point is Davion Jones. The holder is Eddie Dufresne. Snap to hold the kick, and does he get it? He indeed puts it through. And with 12:33 to play in the first quarter, the Sharks hit the board. They lead it 7-0. All right, here we go. The other good news for you at home tonight is we are so close to the Shark sidelines, you may even get to hear some of the language. Now, we also want to remind you at home that, well, we don't abide by, what is it?
The FCC.
FCC rules. So if you hear something that you wouldn't normally hear on a regular television show, it's the internet. And this ball is fielded at about the 10, out across the 20, up to the 30, 35, 37-yard line. Good field position for Hernando County to start, and a good return there by number 11, DeMonte Hart. And they'll give it a try again, and let's see if they go to that quarterback, Caleb. Daiwanski McWilliams. Nope, they will stick with number 14, Jordan Wright, at quarterback. He didn't listen. It's not an easy position to play, obviously. It's one of the hardest positions on the field to play. But he looked like a deer in headlights on that opening drive. And that's a credit to Mark Barton and that Sharks defense, because they give you multiple looks. They blitz from different positions. Quick throw, and that's probably going to be their best bet of the night right there. Good completion.
I want to say, Alan, as a former quarterback, if a defense is going to bring you blitz, you got to get that ball out of your hands quickly and let your athletes go try to get you some yards.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and that's the thing that shocked me on the opening drive. They played them twice. There are no secrets. You know what the Sharks and Barton's guys are going to do. So everything's got to be bang, bang, bang. So And that time it was as he completes the pass to Dallas Campbell. So let's see what they do here. Is they're going to open here on second and about 7. And they're going to have 4 wide receivers and 1 back in the backfield. Turns, gives to that back, and he bullies his way ahead for a gain of about 2, maybe 3 at the most. And that'll bring up 3rd down. And we'll call it a short 6 and a long 5.
Javarius Christmas up there fighting hard for those yards and making it a much more manageable 3rd down here for the Hawks.
And it's a good point, Cale. I've been trying to stop him up front on that defensive line. Nelson Comperi, Tay Jones, Caleb Wright, and Messiah Robinson. Your linebackers, Vite Yankee and McDowell. Sounds like I'm calling in a license plate, don't it? 3rd and 5. Delayed handoff. Nope. Little play action there. Throws. Step-for-step coverage the whole way. Not a chance on that completion, and that's going to bring up 4th down and 5. And that's the one thing, the one area the Sharks defense is really, really improved in. And Barton can feel a lot more confident leaving his corners, Childs and Sawyer, out there, because not only are Childs and Sawyer playing corner, but they're also 2 of the best wide receivers in the EAFL as well. I mean, on the opening drive, you saw the touchdown pass to Kendall Sawyer. He ran right past the defender. So he's playing both sides here. And they're going to go for this on 4th and 5. Throws, caught, and that is what they're going to have to do if they're going to pick up yards tonight. Underneath, tucked in coverage, and quick release.
That was hard on the reception, picking up the Hawks' 1st down.
I'll tell you what, that's a big play for them because not only do they pick up the 1st down, but now they push the ball close to the midfield mark. If they don't pick up another 1st down, they have an opportunity to flip the field a little bit here and maybe put the Sharks' offense back deep should they turn it over to them. So let's see what they have in store now with a 5 wide receiver set on 1st down. Looking, in trouble, ducks out of it. He's going to have to keep it. He's past the line of scrimmage. He'll step out of bounds on the far side, and flags fly. That's going to be on the white here. Yeah, the flags came flying after the quarterback stepped out of bounds. So let's see what the white hat calls. It's definitely going to be 15 yards one way or the other here. Yeah, the Hawks are walking backwards. They're in their all whites tonight, and the Sharks are in the all blacks with the red. So let's see what he calls. Personal foul. Helmet to helmet. 15 yards against the Hernando Hawks, so that will negate the play, and that will push Hernando back to a 1st and 20 situation here. Not a dead ball foul either, so spot foul actually. So 1st and 20 now for Jordan Wright and the offense. Man coverage. This is a jet sweep, trying something a little different here. But to run east and west on this defense is just not going to happen, as coming up with the big hit there was Keyshawn Cooper coming down from the secondary, and he forces a loss of 3. So now it'll bring up 2nd and 23, Caleb, and you're not running outside on the Sharks.
No, and especially when the only guy that's made a play for you is DeMontre Hart.
Yeah.
And so if I'm the Sharks, I see him moving. Guess where I'm flowing?
You're flowing right to him. That's a good play. It's a good point.
Make somebody else. If somebody else beats me, all right, then I'll start paying them some attention.
Right.
But until then, I'm highlighting Hart.
Yeah. So now they're going to have doubles. That means 2 wide receivers, which are split equal to each side. A little further on the other side. Jordan drops back. He just cuts one loose here, and that's intercepted. And it was as if he had thrown it right to him. I think is that Eddie Dufresne? Look at Eddie Dufresne out there running around. Eddie Dufresne with the fake pitch. Dufresne playing wide receiver. Looked like Lamar Jackson out there once he caught the ball. Let's go, Eddie Dufresne.
Trying to give a little schoolyard.
Eddie Dufresne, I'm told, in his day, man, was one of the best second basemen Titusville Terriers ever had. And Eddie Dufresne showing flashes of that greatness right there with a great interception. And let's see if the Sharks can get some pot now. And that means points off turnovers. The fake pitch got me there. I love the fake pitch, man. That's a highlight. That's a great run on first down. I mean, the running back got the ball and worked his way, followed his blocks, kept trickling right. And before you know it, he had 8-9 yards. That is Jarvell Francis on the carry.
And any younger players watching, that's exactly what coaches say when they want a patient runner.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Let your blocks develop and just don't do anything you don't need to do.
That's exactly right. Trying to make, I get trying to make something out of nothing, but he waited and he picks up 9. Now the playbook is wide open on 2nd and 1.5 and 2 for Patrick Knight. Knight drops back, looks, fires wide open across the middle. Touchdown, East Coast Sharks. Second play of the possession and into the end zone. Julius Bell Bennett. And it's 13-0.
Allen, that was a missed assignment by the Sharks. You had 3 defenders.
By the Hawks.
By the Hawks. They had 3 defenders cutting on that out route, which left the post, and the safety wasn't even.
He was nowhere to be found.
Right.
Yeah, right. Eddie Dufresne said, what took him so long on that drive? That was 2 plays on that one. Touchdown. And the Sharks. Boy, they have come to play tonight. Whistle, and this may be too many men on the field. Yep, that's going to go against the Sharks, so they're going to have to back up 5 yards for the EP try.
Too many men.
Yep. So, Patrick Knight is throwing a pretty ball tonight. Of course, that wide receiver right there, as you know, Caleb.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have did the Macarena right there, and he was that wide open. And this chip shot, does that get through? No, it does not. But there's not. Yep, there is. There's another flag down. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Sharks, so that'll be taken on the kickoff, which we will be back with here in a moment. Sharks lead this thing with just halfway through the first quarter, 13-0. All right, welcome back. I was just telling Caleb, I don't know if you saw, as they move them back 15 yards for the unsportsmanlike conduct, but next year, the EAFL going back to their roots, and that's one division for every team. There will be no AAA. There will be no AA. The AA teams that had difficulties this year, forfeiting games, not being competitive, you're either going to field a competitive team next year and play, or you're not. And so I like the move from Michael Torres. I like the move from the EAFL. Michael has said we will be doing the Elite Bowls this year, but he has not reached out yet. So we'll see if it's us or somebody else doing them. But either way, this year's Elite Bowl will be the last of the 2 divisional formats. And that ball will be dropped.
That's hard again.
Yeah, Hart tripped up. That's a great play. Now, did he fall or was he tripped up? I thought he was not tripped up.
The ground tripped him up.
Yep, so the turf monster comes up and tackles Hart. And Hart, his coach tells him, look, man, look at the scoreboard. That's a good return, but you can't stop us. You can only hope to contain us. And the Hawks, who desperately are going to need points now, start with outstanding field position here. So the playbook opens up a little bit here, but that'll be decided by Mark Barton and his defense. $13-0. The Sharks have run 3 offensive plays. Eddie Dufresne to my right says, 3 plays should be done in 2.
Gosh, you're slacking.
They're slacking tonight. Here we go. And let's see here. Do we still have 14? Yep, we do. And a little wide receiver out to guess who, Caleb?
It's Mr. Hart.
Mr. Hart, who's a good player, but picks up no yards there. And that'll be a loss of 3, 2nd and 13, as the Sharks have now forced Hernando behind the sticks on first down, on every first down of this game, one way or another.
Which I see here on our roster, his nickname is Zoo.
Zoo?
DeMonte Zoo Hart.
Okay. Yep, there it is. Okay. Yeah, Zoo. ZU. And we're going to get a false start. So now it'll be, actually, he lost more yards than I thought. And so instead of being 2nd and 14, it's now going to be 2nd and 19 now. And backwards, the Hawks continue to go. And the first game, Hernando played them tough. They really, really did. It was 14-6 in that game. And the second game, the Sharks were up 28-0. Hernando got a late touchdown in that one for a 28-6 win. But this one here, this is all Sharks so far.
Got 2 one-on-ones to the bottom of your screen.
Jordan Wright immediately looks that way and throws, and across the middle, great clean hit in there. What I'm going to tell you, you see a lot of 52s make hits on players coming across the middle, and that one absolutely no different as that boom was laid by Nate Yankee, and Yankee knew it. He turned his shoulder and dropped him like a box of rocks, and that'll bring up 3rd and 19 or 20 here. Wow, I'm told in that 14-6 game that the Sharks had over 240 yards in penalties in that one. Wright drops back, under pressure, throws, caught. Nice job underneath. Helmets are off and everything else, heads flying off out there. Good job, though, on the catch by the wide receiver, Jay Kelly. Got past the sticks just enough. They needed 19 or 20. They picked up 21. 1st and 10, ball at the Sharks 45. Oh, they did not get the first down.
Wow.
Okay. My apologies there. So it's 4th down. How did I miss that? Okay. I missed that. Okay. So it's 4th and 5. My apologies. So, yeah, this is a no-brainer go for it. What a break here with 5:24. Oh, I see him, yeah. I saw that, yeah. I saw that. Saw that earlier. $5:24 to go here. as we have a water break. I'm going to step aside here. We'll be right back on Brevard Sports Network. Whistle blows. We're ready. Big 4th and 5 for the Hawks here. They need this. Still just a 2-score game. Pump fake throws. Oh, nearly picked off as Hassan Childs. I think he just lost concentration there. He had it. And guess what? The receiver was open, too. The receiver was wide open. He got like 3 or 4 steps past Childs. He just threw the ball short.
If you're the quarterback there, especially you're seeing it develop, you're throwing into what would be, I guess, bracketed coverage. You've got to overthrow it.
Yeah, and he did not do that. In fact, he underthrew it, and in doing so, nearly threw the interception. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to apologize to Hassan Childs here because he did not catch that ball on purpose. And looking back at the play, as it developed, Childs catches that ball and makes the interception. It's 1st and 10 for the Sharks at the 17. By dropping the ball the way he did, that's 4th and 5. The field position is much better. That's unselfish play on Childs' part. Because I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, wait a minute. He just looked like he threw the ball out of his hands because he caught it and then just kind of chucked it a little bit. And now you know why. Now you know why he did that. So a good play by Childs to not actually catch that football. That is what you call a high football IQ there. And they're looking at a hole in the field. I don't know why it makes a difference. The Sharks haven't gotten that far down the field as they fill it in. Or the Hawks, I should say, driving that way. But I guess, you got to make sure. The rains came. Here we go. We're good.
The rains are coming back, it looks like.
Are they?
At least I'm seeing out there on the puddle, you can see little raindrops out in the lake out there.
Yeah, well, the good news is yeah, you're right, Kel. The good news is we are undercover and we are in air conditioning. That's a headsy play by him. It just is. And there's Childs there. Childs, a former USF player. Quick pitch. Good seal block on the end. But the Hernando Hawks defense covers. I think the seal block gave the play away because it came he went a little too early on the seal.
But you see the Ravens run that very similar play.
Yeah, you got to time that block up, though, because otherwise your linebackers read it, and if they read it right like they did there, it doesn't work. To have the wide receiver come back across and try to seal that off. He cut just a little too early on the play. And in doing so, the linebacker sees that and says, well, this is which way the ball is coming. So now it's 2nd and 10. This is the 4th offensive play of the game for the Sharks. They have scored on 2 of the previous 3. They better hurry up here. Back judge is counting down. Yep, there goes the flag. So that's going to be a delay of game, and that's going to back them up 5 yards. So now it's going to be 2nd and 15. And if you're going to be picky on the Sharks, if you're going to nitpick here, and it's not a lot to pick at, they have started strong in several games this year and then plateaued out, allowing teams to come back in games. You're in the playoffs now. The Sharks need to put the throttle down, the gear in 5th, and just go.
I was going to say, Alan, you say you're being nitpicky, but you have to be nitpicky in the playoffs.
You got to be. 2nd down and 15. Throws and overshot his intended target on that play. And immediately the Sharks are faced with 3rd down and 15. Is that when his Knight just let that one go? And Kendall Sawyer could not run under that one, overthrown. So 3rd and 15 now for the Sharks. 3:40 to play in the opening quarter. Alan Slaughter-Zinski, Caleb Brown, Eddie Dufresne sitting to our right as well. Pleasure to be with you tonight from Space Coast Panthers Stadium. Depending upon where the Sharks go, there is nothing on our schedule for next week. We may follow if they win. Let me just get that out there now. They finish this off and win. Dropped. Incomplete. 4th and 15. So a very sloppy drive there. Series, I should say. Very sloppy series because there was no drive by the Sharks as they lose 5 yards on a delay penalty, and an incomplete and a drop leads to a 4th and a 15. So now the Hawks will get the ball back in fairly decent territory, and I'd bet that Hart is probably the one back deep. Caleb, is that who it is?
No, it's actually yes, sorry, Hart is deep, yes.
He's the deeper guy.
Yes. They have a second return man, number 19, Lewis Williams.
Okay.
Listed as an athlete.
All right. Well, we're about to find out. There's a snap. That's a great punt. And it's going to be Hart that lets it bounce. And that's an outstanding punt all the way down to the 20-yard line. He kicked that from the 30. 50-yard gross, and that will be a 35-yard net as the Hawks take over 1st and 10 at their 20.
You know what I never understood?
What's that?
If you have 2 guys back deep for the punt, it goes over the first guy's head. Would you not want that first returner to throw a little bit of a block, try to see if he can open up something for your deep returner?
I generally think that's the hope of the coach.
Okay. I'm just making sure there's not a penalty.
No. I would think that's generally what the coach is expecting. Whether that occurs or not is an entirely different situation.
Fair enough.
Right. Jordan Wright, the quarterback. Nope, it is not Jordan Wright. And that's your guy, Caleb, in the quarterback now.
McWilliams.
McWilliams Jr. Dawanski McWilliams Jr. in at quarterback now. And he lets one loose, and my goodness gracious, up a little higher, and that's a pick 6. So not a great we're showing yellow. Can you check our stream?
I shall check it.
I mean, if we got to go back and kick another one out, then we will.
Frozen a couple times just after the punt.
Okay, so let's see. What do we got here? Are we good? I don't know why it's. How's it doing now?
Looks like it might catch back up. It froze again, started back up.
Let me know if it keeps freezing. Because we're going to have to go back in and restart. Because we are in the middle of no man's land, and we brought our own internet with us, but that doesn't always guarantee us a stream either.
It'll stop for a second and then go on.
What do you think? Let's get to the end of the first quarter here.
Yeah.
And then make a decision where we need to be. McWilliams just throws this up. Eddie Dufresne nearly had another one there. And that is an incomplete pass, and that'll bring up 3rd down. And they are behind the sticks again. 3rd and 14 now. 3:13 to go in the first. We could be here for a while tonight.
Yeah, no, the first play just went out on YouTube, the first play of this drive.
Okay, so we're on 3rd down. So, yeah, after the quarter, if we make it that far, we may just cut off and restart here again in a moment. Hate that this is happening, but this is the unknown here. We are in the middle of Canaveral Groves, Florida, and there is nothing around us here. So my apologies. Ooh. Sacked. And that'll bring up 4th down. And in on the sack that time was number 7. No penalty. You said a penalty? No penalty. Okay. Where are we at now?
Waiting to see which play it is.
That was Tay Jones in on the sack. So they're going to punt, obviously.
Yeah, it'll freeze for 1 or 2 seconds, then go on.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to get to the end of the quarter here, and if we can make it, then we will. Punt is dropped, and yeah, the Sharks are going to take over inside the 10, and they are about ready. If the Sharks score a touchdown here, that's where we'll end it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm going to say because right now Eddie Dufresne just had his near-miss interception.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll Here we go. 1st and goal. This is the heavy set with Patrick Knight, the quarterback. Big number 77 in there. Right. He gets the ball. Wright gets the ball. They're trying to get him a touchdown. He gets down to the 1. Boy, that would be something if Big Caleb Wright could get a touchdown, wouldn't it?
That would
so deserved. So deserved.
No.
So as soon as the Sharks score here, because I'm sure Caleb's, nope, this time, touchdown, walk-in touchdown for the Sharks as Amos Brown, number 19 on my roster, gets the score. And it is 19-0 with $1:28 to go. And we'll stay for the extra point, and then we're going to log off of this. Because we cannot have you watching a stream that is – they're going to go for 2 here to try to alleviate the missed extra point to get it to 21-0. This is Wright. They push him right. How about Caleb Wright in for a touchdown or a conversion? Caleb Wright makes it 21-0. We may miss a couple of plays, but we'll be back here.